So, Dave, businesses have been through hell. The small businesses particularly. And look, we had the Hawke's Bay, we got the floods here in Auckland. All sorts of things are happening right now. Plus, the pandemic has left a lot of debt.
Yes.
What's happening now? How are people coping?
Spending up large.
Spending up large. How do you know that?
So December was the biggest month ever for card payments. Either tapping the credit card, swiping, whatever you want. Biggest month ever. $10 billion just in December.
And that's a mix of both domestic and business, is it?
Yep. But one of the things that's really interesting is people go, oh, well, that's inflation. It's so much more from my groceries. Out of that $10 billion, $3 billion was spent on consumer durable goods.
Wow.
Stuff that's going to stick around for a while. So this isn't all driven by inflation. We still have people out swiping up that credit card like crazy. And so we've got some really interesting conflicting. On the one hand, we've got, times are tough and it's grim, etc., etc. And on the other hand, we've got massive amounts of spending going on. So, and not all just picking up the cost of inflation.
Well, look, we know that businesses are increasing their turnover at the moment. We've got some facts on that, or you've got some statistics. So are businesses flush with cash right now? They can afford this? Or is this really, as you've pointed out before, everyone goes out and buys an SUV when they've got a few dollars in the bank?
Look, the short answer is it depends. So some businesses have done really well over the COVID period and what's coming out of that. Other businesses not so much. One thing that I think is pretty universal is that we've got really used to cheap money. Most small businesses are funded through the owners of the business getting a mortgage and pumping that money in, and mortgage rates have been at record lows. We've seen the IRD Small Business Cash Flow Loan Scheme, which I think was a wonderful idea, but really, really low interest rates. And we've also seen the government pushing the banks into giving cheap interest.
So what's inflation going to do to that?
It's going to make you, if you're servicing, $100,000 of debt and you were servicing it, say 2%, and now you're servicing it 7%, that's quite a big difference.
Oh yeah.
And now you extrapolate that out to much bigger debt loads, and particularly at a time where a lot of businesses' margins have been squeezed a bit because now we've got to pay more for staff, all that sort of carry on, supply chains getting more expensive. There is a risk, and I think this is why we see the Reserve Bank being a little bit...
I see the economists as well are predicting the recession will happen. It's going to be a tick. And of course, that's what they're deliberately trying to get us into recession.
Yeah, trying to, and the Reserve Bank governor, he says trying to come in for a soft landing, but controlling interest rates is a pretty blunt instrument. So, maybe we do get the soft landing, or maybe they overshoot and we go...
Now, about the spending, got any advice?
Look, one of the things, and wonderful part of my job is I get to see different people, different stages of life, and different levels of wealth. There is a key to being wealthy, and it's really, really, really simple, but not easy. Spend less than you earn. If you can't afford it, don't buy it. It's that simple.
If you can't afford it, don't buy it. We heard it here. Thanks, Dave.
Till next time.